you have ever been sitting at home watching a video when suddenly a commercial comes on. It starts playing that sad music in the background and it starts showing all the very depressing and sad pictures of these dogs and cats that have been neglected, abandoned, and abused. Well, I think we've all seen them, and they're by the ASPCA. So they're trying to shed light on the fact they need donations, but they're shedding light on the fact that these dogs and cats need adoption also. The Human Society Organization is saying that 2.7 million cats and dogs are getting euthanized every year from the lack of adoption. Well, y'all are in college now. You've probably moved out of your parents' house. You might be living in a dorm. You might be living in an apartment or even the sorority house. And you feel like now in your life is a great time and you really want the companionship of a dog or a cat. Well, adoption is really one of the greatest processes to go through when getting a dog or a cat. And just remember, you're helping get a dog or a cat off the street and out of a shelter where they're not going to be euthanized. And that shelter is also able to take in another cat or dog and help them find a family. So remember that when you're deciding on if you want to do adoption or not. But it's a great process to go through, and you're really helping these cats and dogs as well as finding your best friend. So a few things before you adopt. Always make sure financially that you can take care of them, whether it comes to the vet bills, an emergency, their food, their litter, things like that. All of those are big responsibilities. You need to make sure that you can do that because a dog and a cat all have these financial responsibilities and you never know when they're going to get sick. So vet-wise, you need to make sure you can do that. Secondly, make sure you have the time for one. You're in college, you're having fun, and yes, you may want a companion, but make sure that you're going to be able to give that companion the right amount of love and affection and time they need, especially if you get a puppy because you're going to need it. So once you've decided those things, it's time to decide on breed, whether you want a cat or dog for one, and then check out Cats 101 or Dogs 101 because those both provide great resources on the breeds and then what kind of needs they have. They're great with other people, they're great with kids, if they need a lot of grooming or if they don't shed a lot, if they have long fur, if they're energetic, and if they have to get a lot of exercise or if they're pretty calm dogs. So all of those things are things to take into consideration if you're getting a cat or dog, and it's a great resource to use. After that, make sure you found a reputable shelter to go to. Shelters always have great intentions, but they don't always have the best resources, and you want to make sure people who are getting their dogs and cats from there are not getting sick dogs and cats because that's one of the worst things that could happen. So once you've decided on the breed and you've decided on a shelter, it's time to get the process started. So whenever you go into a shelter, you're going to be able to go see the cats or see the dogs. You can usually have them, they're usually split up, so you can go into a different room depending on if you're wanting a small dog or a big dog, and someone will usually direct you. After you've picked out a dog or cat, they typically have an area for you to hang out and play with that dog or cat. See how you interact together, if it has the right personality for you, because they all have personalities. You want to make sure that you get one that fits you really well. After you've done this, you've decided on an animal, and you found one that you're really connecting with, you just go up to the line. You'll typically have to fill out some paperwork. Things you'll need with you whenever you head up there. Make sure you have a vet reference or you have a vet that you're going to start going to. Make sure you're at least 18, and some places even require you to be 21, so I would call ahead and ask to make sure. That way, if you're under 21, you can bring a parent with you. And then lastly, you're going to have to provide an address, and they're going to want to know what kind of place you live in. If you're getting a big dog, they might not feel comfortable letting you adopt a big dog when you say you live in a dorm room. And it is at the shelter's discretion, so make sure you have these kind of things ready whenever you get in line. After you adopt them, then it's going to be a day or two before you get them. So the reason for that is whenever you adopt a pet, this is actually a really great thing. The fee is not as big, and they're microchipping your pet for you. They're spaying and neutering your pet for you, and they're giving them all their shots up to date, which is something that's usually really expensive, and it's typically all put into the fee of when you adopt your pet, and those are usually below $200. So for under $200, you're getting all of this vet care whenever you get your animal. So that's actually the whole adoption process. It's super simple, super easy, and it's a great way to find your best friend and help get animals off the street. So if you think that now is the time for you to get a dog or a cat, really look at adoption, because it's actually one of the best options, and you're really helping a dog or cat get off the street whenever you do that.